Hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to the Gonzo Ewok channel with me, Gonzo.
Me, Ewok.
For another episode of
Geordie Space Program! Part 2 of this mission.
Indeed, and we're recording this right off the back of the last one, apart from I've stopped to get with both a fresh drink.
Which always helps when you're navigating complex rockets.
It does, and I've also wafted the doors to the ensuite bathroom and onto the landing because it is roasting in here. We're still recording on 18th of August, and it's hot.
It's getting a bit man-smelly in here.
A bit man-sweat. Oh, Jesus. Aye, it is.
Right. Hopefully you joined us for the last mission. If you did, you will have seen that we got this satellite over Minmus. We had to cheat to a small extent because the game didn't recognise this as a new satellite, even though it was, and if you go back and watch the last episode, you'll see that it was.
Hopefully there'll be comments underneath of people who've watched it and said, yeah, you did the right thing, I've had that happen before.
I've got a couple of theories. One could be that it didn't recognise it as a new satellite because we went at the start, back to Kerbal control, then came back to it. I mentioned that earlier, so that could have made the game think, oh, it's a satellite that's already in space. It's not a new satellite for the purposes of this mission. The other one, I think, could be that debris.
Right.
Maybe it's seeing that there's debris there. Oh no, because that's the debris from this craft. What happened to the debris from the last craft? Because we left debris from the last craft.
It's gone.
Oh well. I was thinking maybe it could be because we did a mission with a rocket that had the same name, and some of that debris might still have been around, so that could have been causing it to think that it was the rocket that debris belonged to. Something like that. God knows.
You know what? It doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter.
This I was going to say this issue again. I did that at the end of the last video.
Well, this episode,
yes, we're going to go back to Kerbin. We're going to get an equatorial orbit, more money, then touchdown, land. Everything's a good one.
Now again, because the game thinks that this is a different rocket from the one that it actually is, or whatever, you know, the fact that the game doesn't recognise that this is a new rocket may mean that we have to do the same cheat again.
But we'll worry about that when we get to it.
We'll worry about that when we get to it, but more importantly, we're not going to let that stop us from doing things right and actually completing all of the conditions. What the hell am I doing? I've forgotten how to get back into Kerbal orbit.
See, the problem is I've grabbed a fresh glass of rum apiece. You'll notice you've got a rum and coke. You'll notice I've got this.
What on earth is that?
Now you see, in the past couple of episodes of Geordie Space Program, we've been drinking Kraken.
I'm going to get us escaping Minmus orbit.
We've been drinking Kraken rum, as I explained. They're now the official sponsors of the channel, along with Grape Drank Ruthless E-Liquid. They're not, actually. They're not. They're definitely not.
The Gonzo Ewok channel is in no way affiliated with Kraken Rum, before anyone fancies putting a strike up against us.
Although if Kraken Rum would like to sponsor us, we are available.
And we can be bought with rum.
I can be bought with next to nothing. So the thing that I was going to point out there is you've got a rum and coke. That was the last of the coke, and since you're the guest, I give you the last of the Coca-Cola, proper Coca-Cola. Well, Pepsi Max. Now, what I'm drinking,
favourite of mine.
Obviously, Kraken rum. It's a premium rum. It's a quite expensive rum. It's a nice rum. I'm drinking it with Aldi Tropical Blast, which is Aldi's own brand lilt, basically. If you've never had a rum and orange juice or a rum and pineapple juice, that works particularly nice. I did have some Aldi's own brand cherry coke, similar to the old Trumto that you used to do. You know,
rum and cherry Vimto.
Yeah, but I decided against it, so I went for rum and Aldi's own brand Tropical Blast Lilt knockoff. And you know what? It's all right. It's a bit dry, catches the teeth, otherwise fine.
I'm a master of the dodgy rum cocktail. I've tried them all. I'll put rum in anything. Oh, I'm way shot over the mark. That's fine.
That is a mess of all kinds of horrible lines. Look at it. It's like this weird spiral you've got as you try and escape.
All I'm doing is slowly bringing us closer to Kerbin.
That's is that a Minmus?
That's Kerbin in the middle there.
Oh yeah.
We've just left Minmus.
That's okay. See, I wasn't paying attention.
We're spending too long on the map. I'm missing all the good shots. I'm not letting people see Minmus. I'm not letting...
See, this is the advantage when people do things like editing. They can spend time looking for the good shots and getting those good shots and piecing them together in a nice montage. With us, you get a mess of wires and, well, us two swearing. Okay, that's
for the most part. On the plus side, we are coming in the right direction. If you see, we're spinning around that way, and that's the way that it wants us to be orbiting.
That's all good. I was concerned when we went out to Minmus, if you remember, in the last video. But yep, I see what you're doing.
So, you know, going in the right direction is a big boon because it takes a lot of fuel to turn around, especially when you're in Kerbin's orbit. When you're in Minmus's orbit, it's not such a big deal.
Yeah, it's doable. But yeah, I mean, we've still got over half a tank full here. Plenty to get this done and get home. You know what, as well? I remember, it'll be weeks ago at this point, but still fairly recent to us. I believe it was Kirby. Might not have been, but what I was saying, well, what do you think we should do in a future episode?
Said Paul.
He said
Paul.
Polar orbit.
No, he didn't say polar orbit. He said go to the pole.
Go to the poles. Yeah. So do you reckon maybe once we've done this, if we've got enough petrol left, you could try and put me down on a pole?
I could give it a whirl.
Kirby, if it is you, we will try. If it's not Kirby, whoever it is, I'm really sorry. I think you're Kirby.
It was Kirby.
It was Kirby. To be fair, it could only really be Kirby, Ringo, Jimmy, Dan, Gary. Basically, we've got a 20% chance if we shout out a subscriber.
I believe Steve T still watches this as well, Sharky.
All right,
but I don't think he has. I don't think he comments on the YouTube videos. He comments on Facebook.
Okay, that's good. Sorry, I missed you, Sharky.
I believe he still watches it. He may have got sick of it. God knows I have. Tom looks so hurt. People can't see you looking hurt.
You can. You're not even looking. You can't even make eye contact with us. I can see you looking steely in a head there. Yes. I see what you're doing. Yeah, it looks as though I've turned into somewhat of an unaffable drunk this evening.
And he's only on his second drink.
Do the fucking science.
I'm not doing science. I'm doing piloting.
All space is science.
You've got a point there. You know, I was watching Scott Manley the other day, and he makes me feel so small.
He made a nuclear submarine fly around the planet.
Yes, he called it the most Kerbal spacecraft ever.
He did it like that. He didn't even need to think about it. He's like, you see that?
But he edits.
You
Have you seen his live streams? He makes mistakes, just like the rest of us.
You've seen that nuclear space thing over there? Not space thing. Sea thing. Submarine. Have you seen that nuclear submarine? I'll make that fly around the planet.
I say he edits like that's a negative thing. He edits.
It's not true.
He edits
care to make polished,
what he does
quality
is
videos.
He spends hours and hours and hours refining and honing designs to come up with a good product, and then spends more time editing it
to give a good video
and coming up with good quality commentary. And what we do is he probably puts 10 hours into a 20-minute video. We put 20 minutes into a 20-minute video. And
he's more northern. He beats her at that. He's Scottish.
He's even more northern than us.
Aye.
We can only hope that Scotland has another referendum and leaves the UK just so we can officially be the most northern of Englanders.
Of course, if we're left, I would join Scotland.
Yeah, I'd be tempted to go with them as well. And they got a lot going on for them, Scotland.
Yep. In any event, we'll keep politics well out of the YouTube channel. Although, actually, you know what? If we started making outrageous political statements, it might actually generate a bit of engagement. That might be nice.
I'm a little concerned that... Right, quick save and quick load.
It's not going down, is it?
Our planned manoeuvre node was there, but our actual where we are... seem to have disappeared.
There's some funny business going on. I don't think KSP's had any recent updates.
It's had some updates since we last played.
Has it?
I think. Not huge ones, but updates nonetheless. However, I've quick saved and quick load, and I seem to be able to see where we're at now.
That
The
always
ascending
helps.
node and descending node is close enough that I'm going to get the apoapsis and the periapsis right now.
Cool.
So we'll start with the periapsis. We're going for 2,100 metres. We're currently at 2,900 metres. See, I've actually got us quite close there already. So what did I say? 2,100. So I'll just pop that on there. I tell you what, it's much easier with manoeuvre nodes. It really is.
Ewok, have you ever heard of cold brewed coffee?
I've never heard of cold brewed coffee. What is cold brewed coffee?
It's like you make coffee, but like you make it with cold water and you leave it for a day to like percolate. Rather than like, you would get hot water, you put it on coffee grounds, you put it through a coffee machine. And it's meant to be very nice. It seems to be a bit hipsterish, if I'm honest. But I've noticed quite a few gaming YouTubers that I quite like. Not naming names, but they are talking a lot about
Why don't you name
coffee.
names? I've got no problem with us like promoting other channels if the channels that we genuinely think are good channels.
Okay, well, I mean, the things that really got me into YouTube, I mean, you don't watch a huge amount of YouTube in terms of gaming stuff, really, do you?
I tend to watch movie-related stuff on YouTube, to be honest with you.
Well, I got into watching YouTube as a fan of YouTube back in 2011, 2012 is when I started getting more seriously into it. And what started with it was Project Zomboid and Mathis Games, covering them. Chances are, if you're watching this, Mathis is quite big now. When I started watching Mathis, he had about 2,500 subscribers. And he got us into it because I was getting into Project Zomboid, and he was one of the guys cranking out videos on one of the early builds of it. He's talking about it. Northern Lion, probably my favourite YouTuber, just because I like his patter. He's a funny guy, he's very quick-witted, very intelligent, and he's been talking a lot about it. And the two of them I found independently, but now they're good mates, and they do a lot of collab together, and they reference each other a lot. There's another guy called Bear Taffy, who also chimes in. He's kind of part of that kind of clique, if you like. And I noticed today, Bear Taffy, if I'm naming names, is now sponsored by one of these cold brew coffee companies that makes it in a little sort of fancy tin. If you imagine Brewdog but coffee, the company does this.
Incidentally, we've got position satellite and equatorial orbit of Kerbal contract complete.
That's
so
right.
For some reason, it's gone back to recognising that this is a new satellite, which it wasn't before.
If anything, at least it just kind of proves that we were right in the first instance to do what we did.
But if you remember, before we quit, we actually looked at the Kerbal contract, and it was saying that we hadn't met the condition of it being a new one.
And now it is.
So I think the fact that we've quit out to the main menu and come back in has clicked it back into action.
That's
so
good.
we haven't had to cheat.
That's good. In any event, we've done that, which is good. I've got slightly sidetracked on my point on the cold brew coffee. So in any event, I've noticed actually one of the YouTubers is now officially sponsored by this coffee company.
Oh, now I get why you're talking about it.
And you know what I was going to say? Bear Taffy, he's really good, and he's 1,000 times bigger than us. But actually, no, he's probably about 500 times bigger than us. He's not a big channel. I mean, Northern Lion, he's a big channel. Mathis is a big channel. Bear Taffy, he's not a big channel.
So what we're saying, ladies and gentlemen, is if
him.
you can all get 500 friends to sign up to subscribe to our channel and watch our videos...
There's a tin of hipster coffee in it for you. You're going for the poll as well?
Of course I
You
am.
sexy beast.
I don't think we're going to make it, pal.
Oh.
Especially not considering we're going to need to do some aero braking.
Well, you know what? We tried. We will go at some point if we don't get it this time. That's only a 7-second burn. We can do that.
Yeah, but bearing in mind, my aim is not very good, and we're going to be coming in at a hell of a speed.
We don't have any heat shields on this thing either, do we?
Exactly, so it's going to have to be a really slow descent. But I mean, I suppose the poles cover a reasonable amount of the planet.
Yeah, as far as we know, because we haven't done any science there, we don't know that the poles are cold yet. So it would be good to find that out.
Hang on, let's get it down to 70. Maybe we need to sort of get it into orbit status first. Maybe we can do that, maybe we can't.
See what we do for our viewers. The faff, we could be down by now if we just plummeted. We could, if anything. I mean, there's no value really in bringing this back. There's a little bit of science on it, and we get some extra cash.
I'm sorry, I don't think we're going to manage this, Kirby. I really don't. But I hope you agree that we made the right call by going for the Mun and Minmus once I realised we could actually do it in the state that we were in.
You know what? I mean, even if we don't do it, I think we should maybe look into seeing if we can get there at some point. It'd be worth doing.
Oh yeah, I mean, we haven't been there. We've flown past 2 celestial bodies and we haven't even explored the whole of the planet yet. Right, where are we in terms of fuel? We've got bollocks all left. I'm going to try and bring it down now.
Aye.
45k and see how that goes.
Yeah.
I think this might explode.
There's a chance, because I mean, actually, it's not going a ridiculous speed. Now it is.
Yeah, it
I
speeds up.
forgot. Yeah. It's fallen. Fallen things go faster in
The
space.
closer we get to the planet, the faster we will be going.
Aye.
That's gravity, bitch.
And that's telekinesis, Kyle.
Never mind. As you're going out from the planet, you're slowing down because the planet's pulling you back towards it with its gravitational force. So when you're moving towards the planet, you're accelerating because it's pulling you towards it.
Like a big earthy hug.
So you reach your fastest speed at your periapsis.
I see.
And you reach your slowest speed at your apoapsis.
You know...
Because at your apoapsis, that's the point where your acceleration away from the planet has stopped and you start accelerating towards the planet again.
Even as much as 2.5 years ago, I never thought we'd be explaining this shit to strangers on the internet. It's weird how life takes its little path.
What's really weird is that I fucking, apologies for the French, love space stuff. I've got the NASA app on my phone. I read the NASA app every day.
I've been interested in space since my dad had a big telescope. We got burgled and I got nicked, bastards. But he had a telescope. My dad was into it, so I had lots of books about space in the house.
Oh.
Most of them I couldn't understand as a kid. But, you know, I did like looking at the pictures and trying to get my head around it.
We were at the Odeon recently, me and the missus, we watched a documentary about the International Space Station, followed like the missions of a few specific astronauts who went to the space station. It was in 3D IMAX, it was fantastic. It was really, I mean, I've always had like a passing interest in space. I loved that sort of stuff in physics classes. That was the stuff that interested me the most.
Aye.
Like the space theory and things like that, but it's Kerbal Space Program has really, really boosted my interest in it, and it's ever since I started playing KSP that I started following the NASA apps, and it got me into other spacey games as well. Spacey games are my big thing now. Stellaris, No Man's Sky, those are the ones that I'm playing at the moment, plus Kerbal Space Program, which I never stopped playing. And I've got the interest outside of gaming.
Aye. No, that's good. And you know what? I mean, if there's one thing that this game's done, is it's popularised it and it's made it accessible. And that's a genius thing when you think about it. I would point to KSP if you were trying to explain to somebody who doesn't play video games the benefits or the positives that they can bring. Because generally when you think about games, you think about race hate, you think about gender politics, you think about exclusion, bullying, trolling, harassment. All the negative shit that goes on the internet's usually what people who don't play games think about. You could point to something like this and go, right, you could have a 12-year-old kid that can explain all about the mechanics to you.
And just
because they were playing
something.
a video game. What's that?
We took the parachute off this to put the science on, so it'll never land. But let's just roll with it, because if we're really, really lucky, we might crash at the pole.
That's a very good point. That is a very good point.
Yeah.
Kirby, you might be seeing the poles. You might see it very quickly.
We're going to go past it. And we're going to have to do another pass of Kerbal because we ran out of fuel when I was trying to slow us down.
It's alright, guys. If you want to stop watching the video now, by all means you can, but we're going to be talking until we explode. So, enjoy.
I'm going to do something, especially for Kirby. Oh no, we've escaped the atmosphere. We've escaped the atmosphere. I was going to do science from over the poles.
Nice. That would have been
But
nice.
because we've escaped the atmosphere, I can't do it. It'll just say from space near Kerbin, I think.
That's a pole, isn't it?
That's a pole.
Is that the North Pole?
That is the North Pole.
I thought the North Pole was surrounded by water.
Well, it's not the North Pole, but it's, Kerbin's... The North Pole will be in there. But yes, that is the northern Arctic area.
Wasn't it more watery at some point, or is it just the way we've approached it before?
There's been ice on both sides, north and south.
Oh, well, I know there's ice, but I mean, wasn't it like ice...
There's the north, there's the south.
Oh, yeah, I'm thinking of the south. You see how it's like a little icy island surrounded by water?
Oh, yeah. Oh, you mean the fact that you've got a lot of land
yeah.
running into the ice sheet.
Well, that's as opposed to water.
Well, there you go, Kirby. I'm sorry we couldn't make it there. But there's a sight for you.
It's a bit blurry, isn't it?
It is a bit blurry. But, that happens when you get far away. Especially with your eyesight.
I've got my contacts in.
The same contact?
No, actually I bought some more off the internet.
When?
About 3 or 4 weeks ago.
About 3 or 4 weeks ago. And how many days were these contacts?
30.
30 days. And you bought them 3 or 4 weeks ago. So you're still within period.
I haven't taken them out since I bought them.
Yeah, but it's only been 3 or 4 weeks. So
Yeah,
you haven't had your 30 days yet.
You're meant to take them out every 12 hours.
I don't have contacts. I don't understand contacts.
And
But
the,
this is coming from the guy who I knew once wore 1-day contacts for 6 months without taking them out of his
I've
eyes.
always worn monthlies, and actually I think you'll find I wore them for 24 months.
Well, you know, if you take the ratio, I thought it was 1 day for 6 months, and it was monthlies for 60 months.
It's a racket by the ophthalmologists, is what it is.
And he hasn't gone blind yet.
No, my eyes are fine. You know what? I went back to the opticians after 24 months of wearing the same monthly pair. And constantly, I wasn't taking them out. I maybe took them out once in 2 years. And he said, you know what? I said, so my eyes all right? And he was like, yeah, fine. So, you know what that proves? Optical science is just a massive racket.
Or your ophthalmologist is terrible.
Now, this was a few years ago. The ones that I took out when I replaced these ones were getting a little bit scratchy. I'd been wearing those for 21 months solid.
Are you sure the lenses were getting a little scratchy and it wasn't your eyeballs that were getting
No,
a little
my eyes were
scratchy?
fine. It was my left one was a bit scratchy. I had a spare contact because obviously I don't get through that many of them. So I changed it over and I thought, you know what, actually that one is looking a little bit clearer, a bit nicer. I'll go and change the other one. So as far as I certainly wouldn't advocate doing this. I probably will be blind by the time I'm 40. Do not.
That is a good point. Do not try this at home.
Yeah, do not do what I do with my eyes. But yeah, I explained it to an optician once, and he said it was eye abuse. That was his exact phrase, was eye abuse. And you know what? One optician said that. The one that actually checked my eyes.
We've missed the poll. I'm very sorry. We're not going to land there.
Worth a try. But in any event, the optician that actually checked my eyes with all his optician gear, he said they were fine. I said, are you sure? And he said, yep, they're absolutely fine. Do you want some new contacts? And I said,
please.
Yeah, go on.
And how much are contacts?
I believe the ones I wear, they work out at about 15 quid a month. You buy like 3.
Is that if you replace them monthly?
Yeah, you buy them in a pack of 3, and they cost about £45.
There's a pack of 3 joke in there.
Yeah, there is.
So for the sake of £15, you are doing what the medical professional refers to as eye abuse.
I'm not doing it to save money. I'm not that much of a skinflint. If anything, I'm terrible with money.
Log temperature. No, nothing there. Observe mystery goo. Anything there? 0.4 science. I'll take it. Transmit the data.
Did it, you know?
No, I just did the temperature scan because I clicked the wrong thing.
Bollocks.
However, we kind of did something. We got money just for positioning it. Yeah, that's the contract complete. I have no words. Space Centre. Before we quit, Space Centre. Let's have a look at our lucrative cash flow situation.
That's pretty good. That
573,499. Plus, even though we haven't really been doing science, we've come away with 104 science.
That's good. We can buy something with that.
Launchpad is at level 2. The VAB is still at level 1. For 225,000, we can go from having 30-part ships, which is what's limiting us, to 255-part ships.
Do it, boy. Oof.
Shall we see if we can afford anything science-wise?
Yeah, I mean, with 104, we can probably get the aerodynamics. Oh no, actually, we can get another tier 3. We've got over 90 science.
We've got miniaturization, little things. Space exploration, we get barometers, they check our storage container, ladders. Advanced flight control, we get the lander can, inline stabilizers. RCS.
That would be handy.
RCS is handy. Landing.
Legs.
Better legs.
You know, there might
parachutes.
be people who are new to the channel that have only been watching since we started this series. They'll not know my catchphrase. I've got it on a t-shirt and everything.
You do? What's your catchphrase, Gonzo?
I'm not saying it until we've got the reason to use it.
Aerodynamics, or aviation. Plane parts.
I mean, plane parts would be handy because in the back of my head I'm thinking, it would be quite nice to fly to the poles, even though that would take forever. I'm kind of thinking it might be quite nice at some point to do that. We've never played with planes, we keep saying it. I would like some planes on the go. But I'm thinking RCS is potentially very handy.
Well, not finished yet. We've got
fairings. I'm seeing fairings.
Fairings, better decouplers, fuel systems.
Fuel lines are handy.
Fuel lines are handy. Propulsion systems,
Pointless.
they're the little ones.
Wuss.
Heavy rocketry, I mean, they're useful. The kickback solid fuel boosters. The skipper and the poodle aren't so useful until you get the huge fuel tanks, but they're there. Are you feeling RCS? Did you say?
I'm thinking so, because what we're doing at the minute is working fine. We know we could get ourselves across to the moon with the stuff that we've built. All the RCS would do is make it more maneuverable.
You're right, we can get to the moon. The RCS can help us land. We don't have landing legs. In the meantime, I could probably fashion some sort of primitive landing system out of girders. So RCS is the way to go.
I think so. Nice.
We've still got 348,000 left over. What else can we upgrade? We'll need that.
Yeah,
so the
EVAs.
astronauts can perform EVAs. If we're going to go to the moon, or the Mun, or Minmus, then we're going to need to do EVAs.
Stretch your legs.
And we're going to need to be able to place flags. Plus it'll give us more crew capacity.
That'd be good. If we do that, we definitely need to put the Gonzo Ewok flag into the game if we can actually go around placing flags. I refuse to put some placeholder flag on the moon.
Should we do that then?
You know what? It makes sense. We don't need more, but we do need to be able to
hang on, no, we can perform EVAs and place flags because we've got level 2.
Oh.
So we don't actually need that.
Good job you checked that before we clicked then.
We don't
Space plane?
Space plane.
No.
Mission control, it's level 2. Research and development. Research and development's level 1. Too expensive to upgrade.
We do need to get that at some point.
To be honest, we don't actually need to upgrade anything right now.
I think
so
keep this cash.
Sit on that cash.
We need science and money, as we always do, and I think the next big one's probably the R&D. Because yes, there's still a lot of stuff to unlock at tier whatever we're at now, 3 I think. But in any event, once we start doing things like manned moon missions, manned Minmus missions, we're going to end up with a lot of science very quickly, and we need to be able to spend it on good stuff.
We are. And we're already getting missions for space data from the moon and things like that. I think, yes, money, which means contracts, but I think we're in the position now where we've bought ourselves up enough that we can focus on picking and choosing contracts that relate to science, and science is the next big step.
Alright.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for watching the Gonzo Ewok channel. I hope you've enjoyed this. Please come back next week and we'll be shooting for science and money.
Bye!